Hey, it's Michelle from MBD Studio. So one of the easiest ways to learn how to prompt and generate AI images is to see your results and your prompts together. Firefly Boards lets you collect your images visually so you can see what you've generated and learn what works and what doesn't, making it easier to explore and discover. In this video, I'm using boards to break down prompts, reference images, composition versus style, and the difference between generating and editing, visually step by step. Once this clicks, you'll reach for boards more often. Quick orientation. If you haven't used Firefly Boards before, you will. It's a blank canvas where you collect your images as you generate. Each image remembers its prompt and settings, so you can click on any result and pick up where you left off. You can create your own board at firefly.adobe.com/boards. I'll put the link in the comments. Firefly Boards makes it easier to prompt with more control. You have more space to write, revise, and experiment, which makes it easier to learn how prompting actually works. Boards lets you collect your results in one place, compare variations side by side, tweaking one thing at a time, and immediately seeing how Firefly responds. Getting to the perfect image is easier when you use boards, so let's start with the most important input, the prompt itself. When you choose a Firefly model inside Boards, your prompt is only one part of the equation. Boards also gives you additional settings that work alongside your prompt. These include the model you're using, reference images, subprompts, and visual intensity. Subprompts are available across different models. They're a structured way to add things like lighting, colors, subjects, and scenes with or without a prompt. You don't have to use them, but they're great for coming up with new ideas and seeing how the AI model responds. Visual intensity is specific to Firefly models. Lower intensity sticks closer to your prompt and references. Higher intensity gives the model more freedom to interpret, so you get more intricate elements and visual drama. There's also an enhanced prompt button, and this one is misunderstood a lot. Enhanced prompt doesn't magically make your image better. What it does is expand your idea into a more detailed prompt, written in a way that the model understands. That's useful for two reasons. First, you can see the kinds of details the model responds to, and second, you can edit that and steer the results. You're not locked into it. Think of it as a draft, not a final answer. One helpful way to think about prompting is like being a director. You're not telling the model how to render pixels, you're giving it direction. Boards also gives you more room to work with for your prompt. You're not squeezing ideas into a tiny text field. If you've ever used generative fill in Photoshop, you know that prompt box is great for quick edits, but not for describing a scene. Boards gives you more space to think, revise, and learn. And one important thing to realize here, your first result usually won't be perfect. But that doesn't mean you're making a mistake, because you're learning from it. Reference images are one of the most powerful tools in Firefly, and also one of the most misunderstood. They're not instructions to copy, they're guidance. Firefly isn't trying to recreate your reference image, it's using it as context. In Firefly models, reference images are split into style and composition, and that distinction matters. Style affects how the image looks, and composition affects how the image is arranged. Here's a quick visual to show how the results differ if you use one versus the other. You can definitely see the composition of the flower pot in the bottom image. You can also use multiple reference images. The clearer your visual intent is, the less guessing the model has to do. If your result seems wrong, see if you can add an additional reference image, even if you need to generate one. You can do some really cool things with composition versus style. Remember, composition is the layout where things live in the frame, and style is how things look, texture, lighting, materials, and mood. Here's a simple example. In this case, the composition is already defined by using the letter M as the composition reference image. The layout and shape come from it, so I don't need to describe that part at all. Instead, I can focus entirely on style. Sometimes you only need one of these, and you can prompt for the other. Once you understand prompts, references, and composition versus style, the next question is this: should you generate something new or edit what you already have? Generating begins with exploration. You're discovering options, not delivering a final, not just yet. Editing is about refinement, honing in on your desired outcome. Generate to explore, edit to refine. When you're learning about prompting, Firefly models are a great place to begin. They're predictable and respond clearly to prompts, references, and settings. Plus, with Firefly 3 and 4, you get 4 variations for each prompt. Once you're comfortable with prompting, exploring other models can be really useful. Different models react differently to the same input. The number of credits it costs per generation is right in the prompt box. Start with Firefly models to learn and generate confidently. Explore other models when you want variation or very specific results. AI image generation almost never produces the exact same result twice, even with the same prompt. That's not a bug, that's just how generative models work. Sometimes the best move is simply to generate again. Boards lets you keep everything visible while you work. You can go back to any image, reload its prompt, tweak it, or branch off from it. Boards is your memory while you're experimenting. Firefly Boards isn't just a place to generate images. It's a place to explore your inner director and discover how to get the most out of your creative time. When you can see your prompt, your references, and variations together, AI stops feeling random and starts feeling creative, collaborative, and fun. Next, I'll go deeper into Firefly Boards, using it for experimentation, mood boarding, and helping you get that perfect image.